Today, Rinpoche explained that in order to be enlightened, the proper object of negation has to be the object of observation. Merely looking at a variety of wrong views and believing that those wrong views are the object of negation in terms of what binds us to cyclic existence is incorrect. It is merely the grasping at true establishment that binds us to cyclic existence. Though other things, which are wrong views, are side effects or results of our wrong view of grasping. We good, Lech? Yeah? Okay. Rinpoche Dixon. Parche.
Yeah. What the other line? Jibu Chungulang, Jibu Chumbilang.
Lesso.
Sonji, that Jibu Chungulang, the Mugijumu Sujit Jodo. And then Digilang Sabazon, Jibu Chumbilang Shanju Senda, Shindula Soba. The Sulatin and Sanjibu. What was anybody?
So welcome everyone to the Chenrezig Center. Once again, we're looking at Lama Tsongkhapa's great treatise on the stages of the path to enlightenment. And this text is a summary of all of Lord Buddha's teachings. It's a commentary on Atisha's Lamp for the Path to Enlightenment, which was the first real summary found in the Tibetan Buddhist literature that showed a being how he or she could, from the beginning stages of the path to the ending stages of the path of Buddhahood, practice, and in what order he or she should practice. So when looking at the teachings in this way, they're divided into three categories, and they're called the teachings shared in common, the teachings for beings of three capacities. So these teachings are as follows. So when you hear the teachings for beings of three capacities, this means that these three categories summarize all of the Kangjur and the Tanjur. The Kangjur, the pronouncements of Lord Buddha, and the Tanjur, the authentic Indian commentary. So these are the texts that we have behind us here. So it just being able to read something that's so short and understand the explicit and implicit material found within these texts is very rare, and that's why this has been our main focus for so many years. So the way that we categorize them is first that called the teachings shared in common with beings of small capacity are teachings for beings who want to achieve a higher realm rebirth in the gods, demigods, and human realms. So these practitioners engage in the refuge of the three jewels of the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and actively engage in abandoning the 10 non-virtuous activities, or engaging in the ethics which abandons the 10 non-virtuous activities. And if one makes a mistake, acknowledging that downfall. So in dependence upon these practices, he or she is able to achieve higher realm rebirth. And these are the teachings shared in common with beings of small capacity. The next category, the teachings shared in common for beings of medium capacity, are for practitioners who wish to achieve their own individual liberation. These practices are the three highest higher trainings. The highest higher training in ethics, concentration, and wisdom. In dependence upon these three trainings, the practitioner is able to achieve his or her own individual liberation or nirvana. The last category, the teachings for beings of great capacity, are practices for those who wish to achieve Buddhahood. And these are practices that combining the practices already mentioned with the mind that aspires to enlightenment, the generation of bodhicitta, and then from that Buddha mind or that bodhicitta engaging in the practice of the six perfections. In dependence upon those practices, he or she is able to achieve complete Buddhahood. So this is how Lord Buddha's teachings can be summarized into three categories. The teachings shared in common, the teachings for beings of three capacities. And just as a translator's note, the tantric path is mentioned very, very briefly at the end of the great treatise on the stage of the path to enlightenment, and that's considered just a summary of all the tantric practices. But Lama Tsongkhapa wrote a secondary book called The Great Treatise on the Stages of the Tantric Path, which is, you would say, in addition to this, if one were to want to practice intensely the tantric vehicle, because the perfection vehicle is really the main focus of the great treatise on the stage of the path to enlightenment. So you divide Mahayana into two categories, the sutra and the tantra teachings, the perfection vehicle and the resultant vehicle. So this emphasizes the perfection vehicle and mentions the tantric vehicle because there's another text which completely explains the tantric vehicle. Dikson Rinpoche. Nge desmo alason.
Yeah, maribi in the dan. Yude sun shwana. Zawa chebi jumba tar tada duban ju shiro ji lenji ji maribi shen gaya yi zawa sheba shayi gunta druti tawa maji ki taba tang gaba shala lolangwa majade datar gajan guba ne shayu pone sheba minji gajati yujen je loto te shenjen kwa chenwa tone ti shenjen ba yinla shenjen tangji kwa chenbi lenji ji marib yinbi shedang kunta ji mariba ne druta mawa tada kuna la yuji kuyu tawa ni mate bishir kuyu tawa ni mate bishir kuyu tawa mate bishir shiru dala ngabar shawa dala ngabar minje ba shinto kecho te tar gajan zembi lodu tatu ba ne yonla junyi je tambo lenje je mariba yinla kunta gaja na jang mama jishe ne dundu ba kuna yinbe na onse la soba tume je shebin zidan tangji ne naya rebe sunje ba meno tishir ne rebe zidan sun shunwa shayu lo ne ishi tuba kona tayang dadun ziba ni san tadaki tabi yu la cheba dundubi toba na yinje toba kanyi tangje la majawu ona mariba te ranjin dundubi tsu te chenrawashi yinjana shir rubundi yune kundu tandu chubi tunala ranjin nam rangi ngui sheshawa la suba tanyen zeba mwantu nana dene kanza kan chu kanyang rong yu nala lu yu wange jaba meba chu dana la rangi ngui ne chu lam de tu shi yueba zeba de yin la te jetara zon yu shen yu chu tangji je rangi delu tela ne da gang rangi she taba tazon ki gu ne ngonzon ba sha de gun rangwa me ba de tena da ne yu ma yin shebi hijabi ndrebale dene kan rangi ngo da rangi da rawa da ran la ra male bani yimba tene she da nan ron so somba taro tela jen la ra male sheba ne jujin la ra male ba yinje yujin tanya bi sheba la yen she shade di wange jaba yimbe ne yen la rama leba wo de na rawan shawa shade yu da ge rangi nalo san de lo tumu mebe ngo teni la rangi ngo dan rangi rangi she shawo pena pala pintu taba pala tabala drudu taba tabala drudu taba te drunzi je ludi ngone jita taba te jane drudu rangi ngui trubi gune jita yin jeba na yudin to druni madrubi ti chebar do memba tejin do chu dana jang tanyebi lui ngona jedar tang yu tang zui la jeba jane chu dana ji rangi ngu rangi nalu jedawa yin chang do yudin do jeba na jeng madruba yin la jeda do menziba tanyebi shebi wangi yaba miba chu dana la rangi ngu ne yabi nalu yoba ziba de yabi ziba le toba yoba kone yoba nyi dang toba meba yoba nyi meba de tada ne koma jaba taba duba la dru taba tar rangi ngu madruba ngazo she rangi ngu madrubi tsu tatar sonso tena nagi lui wangi yaba meba rangi ngu yugune yuji dindo ruba te tada kan raji mesar teni chebar ji kansa ki ni dang meba ne kansa ki dame dang mina la sobi chuji dindo meba ne chuji dame do sombe raji na kansa dang chuji dindo yeba ne zimba ne dani nijin zimba shuji toba nyuso toba nijabin driba le tala daji shawa ne kanji yin ngombo naji shen la ra ma lebe ngon raji te meba ne da meba wo tena chui dang kansa ki iwa nyi so to de chuji dame da meba dang kansa ki da meba she shawo she somba taro kede kansa rangi tsenyi ji choban zimba te kansa ki dadun zimba yinba mri te yen tuna kansa yen la mi ne kansa rangi tsenyi ji choban zimba kansa ki danzi dunjo la ten do na ne ji su la tawa jo gu na de la ne nga wo nya to menjin be ji da mri bi shiru she na kansa la raji yo ban zin ba ne ha she ba dar kansa ki da raji yo ba kansa ki da do son be kansa ki da ji do de gu so wen chang kansa ki da dun zin ba la ji de ma cho ba yin no kansa ki da dun zin ba la ji de ma cho ba yin no Ona jide
Okay.
danzila chendra shigu nyana jida kunta ji danzila mabi ku debangaji ki pombola the kalejuna.
Let's go. Chukabaka. Pombola kabiori. Deya pombola.
Yeah.
That's. Hold on. It just stopped like in the middle of a sentence. 1 second. Chukabakasa. Rimche.
Jida kunta dana jinsu hoda. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
kansak. The una. This kabi. Okay. I'll figure it out. We're good. I mean, John Kansak, he read that. Jeta kunta gi dazin la mambu. There. Okay. Dixon. All right. So that puts us at 662 midway, which is right here. What is the conception of self, the view of Jeta Gunta? Okay. So that's that. And I said we are starting at 211, correct? Okay. Here we go. Is everybody ready? Yeah? Okay. All right. Based on just this intrinsic nature, the referent object of the way that ignorance apprehends things as explained above, essentialist schools, Buddhist and non-Buddhist, reify many different things. When you negate the referent of ignorance's cognitive process, you completely stop all these tenet-driven reifications, as though you cut a tree at its root. Therefore, those who have the faculty of wisdom should understand that the referent object of innate ignorance is the basic object of negation, and should not devote themselves merely to refuting imaginary constructs that are imputed only by the advocates of philosophical tenets. Refuting the object of negation in this way is not an idle pursuit. You see that living beings are bound in cyclic existence by a wrong conceptual consciousness that has the object of negation as its object, and you then refute its object. What binds all living beings in cyclic existence is innate ignorance. Acquired ignorance exists only among those who advocate philosophical tenets. So it cannot be the root of cyclic existence. It is extremely important to gain specific and certain knowledge at this point. Hence, the ultimate wrong conceptual consciousness that conceives the object of negation is the innate ignorance, which is the first of the 12 factors of dependent arising. Acquired objects of negation are merely superimpositions based on this. So just as a translator's note, it's saying that there are all these different tenet systems and philosophical systems of different religions, and these are not the root of cyclic existence. And spending a lot of time refuting them isn't really getting to the root of what is the root of cyclic existence. So it is the innate ignorance is the ignorance that grasps at things as being truly established. So it says it's extremely important to gain specific and certain knowledge at this point. So to look for the object of the proper object of negation, you can look at other religious philosophical tenet systems that were made up, but those can be negated, but those aren't the object of negation, and those aren't the root of cyclic existence. Thus, it is not all the case that reason negates all of the cognitive processes through which non-conceptual consciousnesses, e.g., example, sensory consciousnesses, apprehend things. Therefore, only conceptual mental consciousness have cognitive processes that are negated by reason. More specifically, reason refutes the cognitive processes of the two conceptions of self and the cognitive processes of those conceptual consciousnesses that superimpose further attributes on objects that have been imputed by those two conceptions of self. It is not that reason refutes the cognitive processes of all conceptual consciousness of any kind. How does ignorance superimpose intrinsic nature? In general, there appear in Chandrakirti's texts many usages of verbal conventions such as nature or essence with regard to objects that exist only conventionally. However, here in the case of the reification by ignorance, there is, with regard to objects, there is, with regard to be by be they persons or other phenomena, a conception that those phenomena have ontological status, a way of existing in and of themselves, without being posited through the force of an awareness. The referent object that is thus apprehended by the ignorant conception, the independent ontological status of those phenomena, is identified as a hypothetical self or intrinsic nature. For Aryadeva's 400 verses says, all of this is without its own power, therefore there is no real self. There is no self. Commenting on this, Chandrakirti's commentary on the 400 stanzas says, it is that which exists essentially, intrinsically, autonomously, and without depending on another, that is to be negated, if there were the dots. Thus, he says, those that are synonyms, without depending on another, does not mean not depending on causes and conditions. Instead, other refers to a subject, a conventional consciousness, and something is said not to depend on another due to the not being posited through the force of that conventional consciousness. Therefore, autonomously refers to the nature of that object that has its own unique ontological status or matter of being. It is just this that is called essence or intrinsic nature. Take, for example, the case of an imaginary snake that is mistakenly ascribed to a rope. If we leave aside how it is ascribed from the perspective that apprehends a snake and try to analyze what the snake is like in terms of its own nature, since a snake is simply not present in that object, its features cannot be analyzed. It is similar with regard to these phenomena. Suppose that we leave aside analysis of how they appear, i.e., how they appear to a conventional awareness, and analyze the objects themselves, asking, what is the manner of being of these phenomena? We find they are not established in any way. Ignorance does not apprehend phenomena in this way. It apprehends each phenomena as having a manner of being such that it can be understood in and of itself without being posited through the force of a conventional consciousness. Chandrakirti's commentary on the 400 stanzas says, where did we stop? Mid-60s. What did he say? Without any doubt, what exists only through the presence of conceptual thought and does not exist without conceptual thought definitely does not exist essentially, as in the case of a snake that is imputed to a coiled rope. Thus, Chandrakirti states how phenomena do not essentially exist. Therefore, what exists objectively in terms of its own essence, without being posited through the power of a subjective mind, is called self or intrinsic nature. The absence of this quality in the persons is called selflessness of person. Its absence in phenomena, such as eyes, ears, and so forth, is called selflessness of objects. Hence, we may implicitly understand that the conceptions of that intrinsic nature as present in persons and objects are the conceptions of the two self of person and self of phenomena. It is as Chandrakirti's commentary on the 400 stanzas says, self is in an essence of things that does not depend on others. It is an intrinsic nature. The non-existence of that is selflessness. Because of the division into objects and persons, it is understood as twofold, the selflessness of objects and selflessness of persons. Chitta Gunta, okay. Quam, the conception of persons as existing by way of their intrinsic character can be a conception of a personal self. Cannot be a conception of a personal self. For if it were, then even observing persons other than oneself and conceiving of them as existing by way of their own intrinsic characteristic would be a conception of a personal self. If you admit this, then while it must be a view of the perishing aggregates, it cannot be a view of the perishing aggregates insofar it is not a conception of that, thinks I. Reply, as explained earlier, Chandrakirti says that an intrinsic nature in persons is a self of persons, so one must accept that a conception of the person as intrinsically existent is a conception of a self of persons. However, a conception of a self of persons is not necessarily a view of the perishing aggregates that sees I and mine. I think that's where we are. Maybe it might be like, let me just see. Let me get exact here. Una Jangang Kansaki. What is needed in order to have a conception of the view of self that is a view of the perishing aggregates? In the case of the conception of self that is an acquired view of the perishing aggregates, there is no definite rule, as there are many, including among the Samkhya schools, who do, as a result of their philosophies, apprehend of self when they observe the aggregates. However, in the case of the innate view of the perishing aggregates, Chandrakirti's commentary on the Middle Way refutes that the aggregates are the observed object, and his explanation of the Middle Way commentary says that the dependently imputed self is the observed object. Okay, Digsung Rinpoche. Jita Gunta Dagi Dazin.
다 간사가 다지는 지다 쳐버 요레스 간사가 다지스나 나오 냐비랑은 두바제베 로지다 안에 라바 가이 깜바 가이 가이 마 제비 데데니부들 지다로레스
Nene the nga round the drupa. Nene ngai mota round the drupa. Ngai lapa round.
Mota ngai yimba.
Mota
ngai yimba round the drupa. Zeba laba ngai yimba round zeba tudula jitalo the.
So the view of the perishing aggregates is the view that this inherently existent I, there is an inherently existent I, and there are inherently existent minds. So this is my I exist, and this is my hand. So there is an independent self that has ownership of some sort. My hand. The hand is I. So it's more, instead of saying my hand, it's really apprehending the hand is me. It's not really saying that the hand is mine. Really what the view of the perishing aggregates is that the hand is me. The I is truly established, is independent, and the hand is me. The aggregates are me. So it's not really mine, it's saying is me. So then Rinpoche, nge mota garish gari. Yomare. So if you see that the car is me, then this is the view of the perishing aggregates. If you identify that somehow with the self, if you identify that the car is me, the hand is me, then it would fall into the category of the view of perishing aggregates. But that car is mine does not fall into the view of the perishing aggregates. It has to identify the objects within self somehow. So that's why there is a difference between dene chapagari the ni yanjasuruna jita dang. So there is a difference between the kali rimche. Okay, so there is a difference between the view of the perishing aggregates and kansak dazin and the grasping at self of persons. When we look at those two subjects and we ask if there are 3 permutations, 4 permutations, if they are mutually exclusive or if they are synonymous, they fall categorically under 4 permutations or 4 possibilities. Because, so then if we say kangla kangi kyap, so we say what pervades what. Here, let me write this down. Detsko perishing the perishing okay, the kansagi dazin, the jeta yimbi macha sho. Oh, okay. So the made genda wrong in the drupa. So what pervades what? So if it is a self of persons, it is not necessarily the view of the perishing aggregates. So posit that which is self of person, but not view of the perishing aggregates. And Rinpoche said another person's intrinsic nature. So the intrinsic nature of another person would be grasping itself of persons, but not the view of the perishing aggregates. Then the jita yena, the kansak dazin yimbi machasho.
rangon drupen jeba joro wote jitare kansa gadani mares.
So my hand is me. The grasping at my hand is me is the view of perishing aggregates, but not grasping at self of persons. Then Garshane, the kansak dazi mayinde.
Kansa gadani mai de meba ngal men rangon drupen manzibe.
Yanjer sirunan kali kali.
Ngala
Mipa?
meba kansa la mine rangon drupen manzibe. Kansa la mine rangon drupen manzibe tal kansa gadani laudarwa.
Then a kansak dazing, then dadzin.
Kansa gadani ina jita ime macho shosana majin.
No, Yomar, the jita yena kansak dazing yimbi macha.
Macho shosana ngai lapa.
Ngai lapa ya yimba.
Ngai yimba.
Then mayinde kansak ngai lapa kansak mayin.
Ngai lapa ngai yimba kansa maro.
Okay, so why is that not? Because my hand that I see as me is not a person. So that's why. So I asked him to describe further. Then why isn't it why isn't that example grasping at self of persons? And it's because my hand is me is not person. Then nika yimbimu. So what is something that is a common locus? I just asked. So grasping at the I as being intrinsically existent is both grasping at self of persons and the view of the perishing aggregates. Then nika mayimbimu. And then something which is neither is a rabbit with horns. So we find that there are four permutations or four possibilities when you compare self of persons and the view of the perishing aggregates.
Chenrezig jita kunta ji ne danzila mabu gu deba gaji ki pombo la mi ne da dun jeba tar neba manaya ne jita lenje ne jita lenje ne yuba pombo mi ba yimba ka ji pombo meba yeba kajin deba tene tabi da meba sombe pombo la meba mejeje kanza tsanshi meba wo teyan nga wo nyabe jeba ji je jubi kanza ji gobe ju jenje kanza ne meba mayino meba tala cheta meba mebi naba ne jodele tala jitso la tawa ne nga dang nga ye nyaba tetabi naba shoba shesombe rangi chenyi ji tobe rangi yoba tanto zemba meje nga wo nyato zemba she gozo yang yundele jitso la tawa kuna pungwa shawa yin la te yang da ki da me ba ni kondo chuba le pungwa ju yu she me ba choba da me ba te rangi me ba tubi dindang geyu gune pongwa sombe shiro ti doshu nzengwe so te yang kanza rangi ngoni chi chuban zenba yinbe rangi tsenyi chi chubi nga wo nyato zenba wo Ngao Jimbe, Jitayang, De Chune, Shiva Shao, Ngata Ngai, Kanto, Menjimbe, Kanza So, Kanza Jeso, Yoban Zimbane, Kanza Gedato, Mobi, Mariba Yimbe, Nyomo Mariba Manjuro, Nyomo Maimba Manjuro. Tata na rangi trubi rangi zangla dado jaba zang ngao chamba zangji lu yu la dado zimba ni le rangi ribi gaja yinba rangi ribi gaja yin la shima ne chanyen dun debe mungu ko te na jita lenji ji meba mungu ba Tenji, Ti Naba, Zidan Ragi Ngo Trubi Nga Yimbe, Te Munguba Mide. Pena, Da Tanzi Ji, Miba, Da Mugujan, Ti Shenyu, Da Taba, Goba, Mugawa Jino. Tetana, Papa Yasidan, Lubeni ji june rangi dan yoba na rangi ngo yona rangi chenji ji yona dan rangi ngo yona dan rangi chenji ji yona dan jeso yona she gaja gaba shawa sombe rangi la soba ha tembi Tata to riba shala, tata meba tunbi tsinaji tunyang, maribe shenyu tar tunmeba, tunba tejin to koa shawos.
Yabudu. I'm just going to reread this paragraph here. What is needed in order to have a conception of the self that is a view of the perishing aggregates? In the case of the conception of self that is acquired view of the perishing aggregates, there is no definite rule, as there are many, including some among the Sammitaya schools who do, as a result of their philosophies, apprehend a self when they observe the aggregates. However, in the case of the innate view of the perishing aggregates, Chandrakirti's commentary on the Middle Way refutes that the aggregates are the observed object, and his explanation of the Middle Way commentary says that the dependently imputed self is the observed object. Hence, an innate view of the perishing aggregates does not take the aggregates as its object of observation, but rather observes the mere person. Moreover, it must be a person who is a basis for the arising of the thought I. Thus, a person of another continuum of mental and physical aggregates is not the object of observation. With regard to how that object of observation is apprehended, Chandrakirti's explanation of the Middle Way commentary says, concerning that, a view of the perishing aggregates operates within the thoughts of I and mine. Thus, it is not simply a conception of intrinsic existence, i.e., existence by way of its own intrinsic nature. It must be a conception thinking I. The explanation of the Middle Way commentary says, just the view of the perishing aggregates is to be eliminated, and it is eliminated upon understanding the selflessness of self. Thus, Chandrakirti says that you eliminate the view of the perishing aggregates by knowing the selflessness, the non-intrinsic existence of the self that is the object of observation, thereby contradicting the way that it is apprehended by the view of the perishing aggregates, since the view of the perishing aggregates must apprehend the opposite of that wisdom which knows selflessness. Moreover, since a view of the perishing aggregates is a conception of the person as essentially existent, it is a conception of an I that exists by way of its intrinsic characteristic. Using this as an example, you should be able to understand the view of the perishing aggregates that is a conception of mind. Even when they do not conceive I or mine, conceptions of the person as substantially existent are still cases of ignorance that misconceives the self of persons. So it is not the case that they are not afflictions. Then the Rinpoche the temchi monga, the nge lapa nga yin jita.
Lapa nga yinba.
The lapa nga yinba jita.
Jita.
Dene, the lapa the nge lapa jita yomare.
Nga lapa rangon
Chuji dazin. So it's grasping at self of phenomena if you're grasping at it as like your hand. It's the view of the perishing aggregates if you say hand is mine. Their hand is me, rather. So it's just confusing because they're writing mine, and it's a little, it means hand is me when they're writing it in that way. That's the meaning of the view of the perishing aggregates. And I even looked it up in this text where it says, a view of the transitory collection observes the appropriated mental and physical aggregates and conceives them to be a real I and mine. So it's even confusing the way it's written in here, but it literally means that hand is me, consciousness is me, is I. And the grasping at that as being truly established is the view of perishing aggregates. It isn't, so then it says, it is an endurance in the sense of not fearing the mistakenness of inherent existence, I and mine, a desire in the sense of seeking a mistaken object, an intelligence in the sense of thoroughly discriminating the object, and a conception in the sense of adhering strongly to its object, and a view in the sense of observing its object. So they're just breaking the etymology of the word. A view of the transitory collection has the function of serving as the basis of all bad views. It is called the view of the transitory collection because the mental and physical aggregates, which are the base of the view, are impermanent and thus transitory, and are a composite of the plural and thus a collection. The name itself indicates that there is no permanent and partless person. A view of the transitory collection conceives of an inherently existent I and exaggerates the distinction between self and other. Okay. As in the passage just cited, self refers to mere essential or intrinsic existence and also refers to the object of an awareness that simply thinks I. Of these two, so I'm back in the Lamrim Chenmo. That was the Jeffrey Hopkins meditation on emptiness. I just think it has a small section that's really helpful. So now back to 215, second paragraph. As in the passage just cited, self refers to mere essential or intrinsic existence and also refers to the object of an awareness that simply thinks I. Of these two, the former is the object negated by reason, whereas the latter is accepted conventionally, so it is not refuted. Therefore, this passage indicates that you do not refute the object which is observed by the innate view of the perishing aggregates. However, the way that its aspect is apprehended is as an essentially existent I. So it is not that they do not refute that way of apprehending. For example, you do not refute the sound that is the object observed by a conception that sound is permanent. But you do refute the permanent sound that is the referent object of the conception. It is not a contradiction. This case is similar. The noble father, Nagarjuna, his spiritual son, Aryadeva, and the two masters, Buddhapalita and Chandrakirti, preface their refutations by saying, if things existed intrinsically, if things existed essentially, if things existed by way of their own intrinsic character, and if things existed substantially, you should understand that the intrinsic nature and so forth mentioned in those texts is indicated above. Also, you should understand that the words indicating that those various things do not exist mean that they do not exist as they are conceived by ignorance. Then chikshene detsmoa then true then leja.
Mibatala chetara dimbi naba nenjundele tela jisola tawa ne ngata ngai nyaba tetabi naba shuba shesombe rangi chenji tubi rangi yeba tando neba meje ngao nyato neba shi goso yanjundele jisola tawa kona pon shawa inla teyan dagi dame dagwa dameba ni konto chuba le pon shawa inla teyan ne dagi dameba ni to chuba le pon ju she meba jubi dadi da meba de rangi meba tubi zintan gi yugune pon sombe shiro de dushu zin goso teyan kanza rangi ngoni ji tuba zinba yinbe rangi chenyi ji tubi ngawo nyatun zinba wo ngayer zinbi jita yang de chunes ngayo zinbi jita to de dindere do
Less so.
laba ngayimba
Less so.
ne jita yang de chune sheba shawo ngada ngawo nyado menzinbi kanza zeso yoba zinba ne kanza ki datu mobi mariba yinbe nyumoba menjuro tata na rangi nguyo chubi rangshin zangla datu jaba dang ngawo nyaba zang dang lu yu la datu sheba nyi le tuambu ne ribi gaja yin la shema ne tanya tu debe mungu go tena jita lenche je meba mungu ba tunji jita lenche je meba mungu ba tunji ti nabi zindan ne rangi nguyo chubi nga yinbe tengu ba mende ten mungu ba mende wana dra tanjin je meba dra mungu jang ti shen yu dra taba ngu ba mungu wa yin no tata na papa yase je yase dang sheben nyi je zhung ne rangjin je yue na tang rangjin je rangi nguyo yue na tang rangi chenyi je yue na tang je so
Ngama chiran de losar.
ya
Chiran nipa de dag good so. Mshe. My pages are stuck together and now de good so nipa.
ya yue na she gaba sumbe rangjin la sobe khaten ba tata to riba shala tata meba tunbe ci na ji tun yang mari ba shen ba tar tun me ba tun ba tata tu she ba sha wo tata tu ko sha wo wo to ba ta le
Nipa chiran de losar. Nipa. De chiran de lo ni temni. De nipa.
ni ba lu ga
Nipa lo.
ni ba de gaja jen la jo wa je dans ma ju tu ne rebongi radan ma change pas la soba ten me ba nam me do she ma wa na chaba di yu mo go ba yin te jin to she ja la yue jang yu du ga ji na yue ba ga ji na me ba na jang yu de ta na ti me ba ne jeba na chaba de jama go so yen ya oma be tanye do troba mende be tanye do trobe mende ba rajin ji de ba ngobo ma yin de ba tumu ma yin ba yin be juta ba na go ba na tada la sangu na Jagube Kangare Matu Tunatala Ranki Ngu Tubi Rajin Shebe Chabasado Yamagute Tadala Tunate Tutama Tadaki Kilan Simbishiro Dadale Shemba Oma Yu Tanye Do Yobanaban Jubi Tunane Chadashi Hiyan Tadan Gubi Kausu ne chaba de jam majala gokhenche reba nila chun chomba jube shenje ba tana shi don ju ne ja gozo jen yang ma she ba tar Oma be Tanya to Jubi, Tuna, Tanya to Jubi, Tuna la Rajin, Yoba, Yomej, Juba, Rebat, Tanya be Sama, Seme Manuba Goethe. Tada Maina, Anjo la Soba, Tanya to Kemelemba, Zoda la Soba, Kelemba, Cheba Ten Maron, Dendawa ne, Lan yin on, Dendawa ne, Lan Mayin on, Truta Denjan to Tedo, Denjan to Metedo Sheba, La Sube, Jiden Badan, Jiden Lendebe, Deba, Debe Naja Kanya, Meta Mebe, Rajinji, Tombala, Kundeji, Naja Tanji, Tebi, Cheba Maron Yushiro, Tatana, Seme Menejan, Tenguba, Dona Kebe, Yengeji ne Yino, Tena, Tatan Guba Sumbi Kauso, Dun Mazawa, Cheba Jawa Shao. Deyan Jejabi, Debatan, Debat Jubi, Debane, Gajan Guba, Chebar, Tisha Chemwa, Tala, Sashi Juntan, Bedapalatan, Sesetan, Juba Randeto, Jayu, Kautumam Nayu, Situ Chewala, Ziba Tan Majayan, Jawa Tenaji, Nejan, Neji Tulhawa, Tulhawa Gune, Ne Majayu, Kausuyan, Jaguba Yinde, Tadala Jumajiji, Cheba Junzijan, Mebishiro, Jean, Nabar Jeba Na Yoba, Maino She, Nabar Jebi, Chebar, Jao Madu, Junde, Deyan, Hanshebatar, Ranking Truna Yin Sujebi, Zebi, Nye Gubale, Manyebi, Ranki, Ngujubi, Memba, Jeba Yimbe, Ranki, Ngujubi, Ranjin, Mejeba Dan, Nejido, Tobashate, Jejabi Debale Kete, Ngobutada, Gami, Kolotan, Trubala Suba Tar, Hui Ngobu Meba, Munjunane, Tite, Ngaba Tebe, Naba Jebana, Sal Damala Suba, Tar Ranking, Che Sewa, Mebanjuna, Tadan Shinji Lutanji, Jujen Yimbe, Naba Jebi, Mesibana, Ranking Meba, Munjua Yino, Sheson Bataro.
Yeah, we'll do.
Yeah.
The Sumbalo, the Chued Lenja. Okay, so we'll read number 2, and then Rinpoche wants to do questions. When to add qualifications to other objects of negation. When you say that utter non-existence, such as the horns of a rabbit and the son of a barren woman, do not exist, you need not attach a qualification such as intrinsically. Similarly, there are things that, although existent among objects of knowledge, exist at some times and places and do not exist at other times and places. When you say that these do not exist at a particular time or place, there is also no need to add to that qualification. Furthermore, when refuting imaginary constructs from the unique assertions of Buddhist or non-Buddhist essentialists, things that Madhyamikas do not exist except as conventionally existent, there is no need to newly attach the qualification essentially or intrinsically to the objects, except in the occasional situation when you should add it, taking into account the opponent's perspective. This is because those proponents of tenets have already asserted the essential existence of those objects. In any other case whatsoever where Madhyamakas do conventionally posit the object, if you fail to add a qualification when refuting it, then the fallacies you adduce will equally apply to your own critique, and hence it will be only a sham of refutation. Thus it must be added. Moreover, as explained earlier, neither a reasoning consciousness which analyzes whether something exists intrinsically nor a conventional valid cognition can contradict what the Madhyamakas posit conventionally. For if either did, it would be utterly untenable to make the distinction that we do not conventionally assert things such as a divine creator, and yet we do assert forms, sounds, and such. Hence, there would be no way to make presentations of the mundane or supermundane such as, this is the path, that is not the path. The tenet is correct, that is not correct. Consequently, the distinguishing feature that all presentations of cyclic existence and nirvana are tenable within the emptiness of intrinsic existence would be impossible. To a skillful philosopher, it is ridiculous to claim that something is refuted even though such valid cognitions do contradict it. Therefore, when stating that you refute those phenomena such as forms, you should be sure to add a qualifying phrase. Chandrakirti's commentary on the 400 stanzas and commentary on the 60 stanzas of reasoning very often add a qualifying phrase when refuting the object to be negated. Such phrases frequently appear in Nagarjuna's fundamental treatise, in Buddhapalita's commentary on the fundamental treatise, and in Chandrakirti's clear words and in a commentary on the Middle Way, along with the explanations of the Middle Way commentary. Thus, those authors regard the repetition of qualifying phrases as excessive verbiage, and they thought that the significance of their having added them at certain points would make it easily understood even when they did not. You should add it even where there did not, because there is not the slightest difference between the places where they did add it and the places where they did not. Furthermore, they frequently added the qualification of analysis, saying when analyzed it does not exist. As explained above, this means that if it existed, essentially it would have to be found by a reasoning consciousness which analyzes the way it exists. However, it is not found, and therefore an essentially existent object does not exist. Hence, you should realize that this makes the same point as saying it does not exist essentially or intrinsically. It is as Chandrakirti's commentary on the 400 stanzas says, since they are deceptive, like the wheel of a firebrand, an emanation or such, these things become non-things. If they did not, then under exacting rational analysis, their essences would be very clearly observable. As in the case of a goldsmith analyzing gold, however, their causes are strictly erroneous, so that when the fire of analysis burns them, they cannot be anything but essenceless. Question. Time.
Yeah, last week I think there was some difficulties, especially number one, I didn't really understand the fourth link, and number two, I think there was some like language barriers because I hadn't learned the terms in Sanskrit. So I spent some time with a Tibetan dictionary this week, and I assembled a little table here to help me explain this question better. So what I was sort of trying to get at last week is, as you said, I'd misunderstood the name and form, or the Tibetan, the Ming Dang Zugs, the fourth link.
Ming Da Zu.
Yep, so that one comprises all five of the aggregates. However,
No.
Oh, it doesn't?
Ming Da Zu, the Pombonga Yomar Pomboji. Pombonga Kanga. Ming Da Zu, the Dendel Yenla Junyi, the Yenla Jipa. Mizu, the Pombonga Kanga. Je.
Lama je de meje pombo.
Mikshe Pombo Yurebe. Pombonga. Migzu. Yanla Pombonga Pomboji.
Zoju pombo mai me pombo je yoro. What the meje pombo zinjire.
Yene Mikshe Mik number Sheba Yomare.
Meje pombo zinjire. Ming number she was go about it.
So it's the four aggregates excluding the consciousness.
Excluding consciousness, and yet so even if you exclude consciousness, the second link is Tibetan that you get is sometimes karma formation or action is the
Lay.
same as the let's see, it's the same as the fourth aggregate. They're both the Tibetan word du bied. So if the fourth dependent origination link is...
But if it's the same name in Tibetan, it doesn't mean it means the same thing. So you're saying that the second link, lay, so what does it say on the table?
So in the table I made is, the second link is karmic formation, action, or constructing activity in the dependent origination. And in the definitions used for the five aggregates...
Duji Gale, right? Is that what it says in Tibetan?
Yeah, I did my best to...
I'm just trying to get to the question.
It's like so it's apostrophe DU space BYED. In the
Say it again?
Apostrophe DU space BYED. And I could have screwed up with but
the Rinpoche, the Yenla Nipa, the Maripa,
Nipa
Duji Gale. It's Duji Gale, just what I said. So it was what I said. So Duji Gale, then Pombo Jipa, Chipa Yirbe, Gangisena, the Pombo Nga, Zuji Pombo, the Pombo Nga, Pombo Jipa Garre.
Duji
Pombo, the Chipa. Duji Pombo, dang, the Duji Le, Chipa. Gine Ming Chipa, then Kong Sampa, Ming Chipa, Dain Sun Sang, Dunda Chipa. So it's not the same meaning. It's a totally different meaning. So those two. So Rinpoche is saying that the second link and the fourth aggregate aren't the same. They don't mean the same thing.
All right, and is that also true of...
So basically, in order to really go... We need a teaching on the 12 links of dependent origination. You know what I mean? In order to thoroughly go over this. And we have that. If you go back on Rinpoche's teachings, you'll find an entire... probably month or two devoted to the 12 links of dependent origination. But I can figure so what's the reason for comparison? What's the sticking point? I just want to ask.
Because
what's the sticking
point? Five aggregates and
right. That's what comprise a being. The five aggregates.
The five aggregates are listed in the links of dependent origination, but not the third aggregate. And I'm really confused why. Three. So,
but that's don't even compare those two things.
All right. So yeah.
Don't look at the aggregates.
The same words.
Yeah. The four aggregates are mentioned in the name and form.
Yep. And they're even though they're using the same word.
Don't look at the Tibetan. You'd have to understand what the meaning of the Tibetan in this context is.
I mean, in all the cases, the Sanskrit and the Tibetan are.
No, I mean the meaning of it in the context of that.
So even though they're using the same words,
doesn't matter.
Different. All right.
We do the same thing in English all the time.
Yeah, that's sort of the problem here. But anyway, one last.
But what's the problem in practice that you're getting at? What's the barrier? What's the hang up?
So I understand that the things that are going on in my head are the reason that I'm trapped in this cyclic existence. So these productions and that's why these mental activities are all listed as the 12 links of dependent origination. The thing that's always confused me is that the third aggregate, which is perception or discrimination, it's du shez in Tibetan. That's the only one that is not listed in the 12 links. And now I had misunderstood because I had thought it's
within name and form.
Yeah, the name and form was something different, so I didn't know it was included in that. So I've spent a long time curious about how these fourth aggregates are in my part of what binds me to this world, but not the third. So I was trying to get
the aggregates aren't what binds you to this world. They're just a kind of a result of what binds you to this world.
If it's all
you have, a Buddha has aggregates. That's my point. A Buddha has five aggregates.
Yeah.
So that's not what binds you.
It's part of the
it's the grasping at them as being intrinsically existent and believing that this hand is you, believing that this body is Jeff. And grasping at it as being just that. Jeff will always be. Jeff is permanent and partless. And when I walk down the street, I feel like that. I feel like this Jeff. I feel like, okay, you tell me I'm going to die, but I don't really believe that. And when I die, I'm going to be Jeff still. I'll just be Jeff somewhere else. Like I feel that, I grasp at Jeff that much. So, and it's all these parts that I believe make me and that are me. So that's it. It's just the grasping at that. And Buddha is just saying that, breaking down what your parts are in an even more subtle way. Saying that this is the form aggregate, this is the feeling, this perception, this is how you discriminate between that's a car and that's a bike. And you grasp at that, and you grasp at that, and you grasp at that, and all these things come together, and then you grasp at a whole thing that isn't a whole. It's a whole thing only because of its parts, but it's not a singular whole thing. And that's the whole can of worms right there that you're trying to work through. And the Buddha's just giving you all of these aids to say, okay, well, this is kind of why you're in cyclic existence. This is what happens. You grasp, and then this happens, then that happens, and that, and this is the chain of things, of events that's happening while you're here. But really, the only reason it's happening is because of the first link, ignorance. Grasping at all of this stuff as being real, and then being jealous and being angry and not being happy and not giving and not being generous because of grasping at this. So it's the reversal of that which kind of fixes everything else.
Thank you. One other quick thing. It's not a question, but I mentioned last week there's a lot of just frustration because if you're reading English Buddhist texts, people use, just as an example, someone will use discrimination for the third aggregate. Another author will use discriminating awareness for the fifth one.
Oh, yeah.
So,
there's a whole lot more, too.
And there's a lot of, I was confused. That's why I learned the terms in Sanskrit. But anyway, I made for that reason, I figured, maybe other people would have difficulty with this too. So I printed out a couple copies of it. It's got the Sanskrit term, the Pali term, which a lot of English Buddhist writers use, the Tibetan term, and then as many common English translations of each one as I could fit on the page. So if anyone
great,
thinks it's
helpful,
like
definitely
that, then,
as you build the lexicon. And what was I going to say? I forgot. Thank you, Sash.
On page 214, can you just explain, I guess, the subtle difference between the acquired view of the perishing aggregates and the innate view of the perishing aggregates? Please.
Rinpoche, let me get to the Tibetan. Lenshi. Ngodan lenche. Let's go. Triya Yapudu. The Tupten children Triya Chipa. Lama. It's the same question Tupten children asked Rinpoche about 10 years ago. I'm serious, when we had a private audience, the same thing. Hold on one second. Lenche Chen. That's good. I want to ask it right, just so it's answered properly. Jitso la dapa. Jitama ripi kansa ranjing yoba zinba marsheba kansak ranjing yoba kansaki dadu zumbe. Just give me 1 second. Kansaki dazin du guso wena jan kansaki dadu zinba ju wena jita dazin. Jita de dazin, jita gunta dan lenche rimche. Jita de gunta dan lenche.
Well, gunta lenche deres.
De don't de ngama Tupten children de chiwa jason.
Ngara on ruwa de ba jurowa. Ngara on ruwa de ba juse la tene ngara on ruwa de ba jita gunta lagre.
So the grasping at the I as being truly established, and thinking about the reason that it is truly established is an acquired view. Hold on. In this case, it says acquired, right? The acquired view. Then the nga raon de drupa. Then jutsen sanlodana.
Jita gunta.
The
jutsen sanlodana
lenche. So if you don't require a reason, then it's natural, or it's the, what are they calling it, innate. Usually it's a natural and acquired or artificial. Sometimes it's called artificial and natural. Artificial means that you're using a reasoning to grasp at I, and the other is this natural grasping at I that doesn't require a reason. The jutsin maguna, then a so if you grasp at the I as being truly established without using reasoning, then it's natural, or the what are they calling it again? I always say natural, innate. And if you're grasping at the I as being truly established, but using a reason for it, then that is the artificial or acquired. I wanted to do the STAC to the... Oh. I want to start announcing people. Just let me know if you want like a Buddhist rap name.
Like, I know that there's like monasteries with like, you know, thousands of people.
There's mama bear. What did you say?
Monks? Did I? Well, I don't know. What did I say?
I thought you said there's mama bears.
Monastery. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Mama bears. All right. So like.
With thousands of cubs. No.
So, for example, like, you know, you've talked about like the monasteries in Tibet, how there's like, you know, a lot of monks. I'm just wondering, how do they feed them all, and like, where do they get the food, and you know, like, do they have like fields where they farm, or do they have people that donate?
Fair question. In Tibet, in India.
Yeah, I was just curious.
The Rinpoche, the drepung dan sera dan ganden, the drapa sheda mambudu, then a kala mambugu, then a kala kabarne, me jenda ngul tegadu, the drapa leka chegadu, then the shintu yurbe, then konsu the shin, then shintu leka chegadu, sacha leka cheken, sakan leka cheken yurbe, then ngul kandreja. Kala kandeja. Less so. The Shiji, Ale. Less so. The name Ngama. Su, the Puken. Ngama, the Pula.
Ngama
Jung. Shinka. Less so. Then they Jakarla the Shintu Shinkan the Consulate Chedu. You name Mambo Google Mare.
Shinka Yuare and Shinka Shida Pantu Maris.
Ale.
And the Jagal could Sheji Kalruna and the Sheji took a few.
Less so.
Waris.
So starting in Tibet, there were people who made offerings, and there were fields and so forth that the monks would work in, but it was mostly offerings, and it was wrapped into the government at that point, because that's really all Tibet cared about was religious activity. It wasn't a country or that was invested in anything else really other than spirituality. So at that point there were donors and so forth. Tibet. The tax Rinpoche Tipula, the tax Yoruba, the Arijong, the Gomochi, the Chala, the Nyona, Arijong, Pesa Druk Ra. Yeah, they don't have tax in Tibet. They didn't have tax in Tibet. I figured out how to explain it to them though, and so that was good. So no tax. So they don't have taxes. They're just taken care of by the community and so forth. When they got into India, they tried to make a bunch of fields as refugees. Indian government gave them various plots of land, and they tried to make fields that they all worked in, and they just didn't have very much success. They weren't from that climate. Their fields produced bananas and stuff, but they really never were able to feed the monastery in that way. Really, the way it's all supported is from donations at this point. Wow. And also that because Buddhism spread out in 59 and in 63, some of the Westerners started to get to Dharamsala and get to other places and learn about it and get donors. Wow. So they were very, very poor initially. Very, very poor. But now they have been able to build it and build it and build it because of outside donations. But they do have, they'll each have like jobs in the monastery, like a cook, and this person will work in the monastery library, and this person will work in, but that's not what's feeding them.
Okay.
It's external source,
Donations.
external money.
Wow. Right.
I mean, it literally, it's so inexpensive. All that would be like one Richard Gere could feed the monastery with no problem as like one of his things he contributes to. Because it's so cheap to make like a thing of food for 1,000 people. It's really a lot cheaper than you would think.
Right.
I lived there for like, you can live there a year for like $1,000. As a Westerner, if you have a place to stay, you can eat out and.
It's very cool. 'Cause
Yeah.
Like rubies. Yeah.
Movies?
Rubies.
Rubies.
Yeah, the currency in India.
Oh, rupees. Yeah. There's rubies there too, so you were confusing me.
Okay.
There's a lot of precious gems.
Rubies. Whatever.
Rupees. Yeah, I think it's like over 60 now to one or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Thank you.
It's like when I was there, it was like 50 or something to one, and a Coke is like 10 or 12 rupees. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like 10, 5 cents, 7 cents.
I visited the kitchen in Drayton's Plaza,
Yeah.
and it was an amazing place. The size of the pots.
Yeah. Terry was saying that, Therese was saying that she visited Drepung in Tibet and got to see like the humongous pots that they cook in. It's crazy how big the kitchen is and the size of the pots. When they make like a veggie biryani, like the pot is so big. The biryani, tsansan, then the gyul, the sheda chambudu, then drapa, the biryani zugdu. It's like a special day when they get the biryani. It's like a special day. Like someone has to give extra money that day and like sponsor it, and then they get like vegetable biryani, and there's like cashews in it and stuff. Yeah. But usually they just live with the simplest, cheapest cuisine they can get.
Then chukukorajan samata yoras.
Huh.
Samata.
So,
Samata zuyaga then chukukorajan then dundes. Zuyayoro.
Sus, it's Sampa, and they're making circumambulations, but I don't understand what the two. Oh, so they make they make sampa by grinding the grains on rocks, and then they make this kind of it's like barley flour to me, and they love it. They just eat it. I don't know. Does anyone here like it? Who's had it? You do? I can't eat it. My hat's off if I had one. That's scary stuff. It's dry. It's like eating flour. Anyone? Yeah, I guess if you mix it with milk, put some sugar and honey. Yeah, and butter. I love anything like that. You can put anything. Maple syrup? Come on. I'm in. Yes.
Okay, so I had a question ultimately about bodhicitta, but I wanted to start with, the title of this is not Stages of the Path to Buddhahood, it's to Enlightenment. So why is it not called the Stages of the Path to Buddhahood if we're on...
Because Enlightenment is divided into different categories, and it doesn't just teach you... It teaches you Enlightenment of the Hinayana, which isn't... of the small scope, which isn't really Enlightenment. It's just named like that. And it teaches you the enlightenment of the medium scope, which is nirvana. And it teaches you the enlightenment of the great scope, which is Buddhahood. Okay. There's different... Enlightenment is a word... liberation is divided into categories. Okay. Enlightenment is... Shanchup, enlightenment, is different categories.
Okay. Okay, so we're on the... towards the end of the 6 perfections. We're on the last one. And it goes on now for a while. And it seems like these concepts would be necessary to achieve individual liberation, not just Buddhahood. And so the last piece is that you have to have bodhicitta and this mind that aspires to enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings to remove the last obscurations to omniscience, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so there's nothing in here like these are all the teachings. You say at the beginning, like these are all the teachings of Lord Buddha and all the commentaries. Like where is the piece on that we can study? or is it kind of innate in these teachings?
I don't know what you mean. I think it's
like-
it's
So
I've-
like this development at the end, because like I'm going back and reading the Exchanging Self for Others and these other things about great compassion, and those are for people of medium. That's still in the teachings for people of medium capacity.
great
right?
capacity. You don't get to bodhicitta or exchanging self and others 7-point thought transformation until you're in the great scope.
Okay,
until
so
you're
that's
in the
already-
Mahayana.
Okay.
Mahayana, once you're into anything like that, you're in Mahayana territory.
So they don't need to develop great compassion at all. Or a person doesn't to achieve individual liberation. It's not part of that
Nope.
at all. Okay.
Nope.
Because I was just thinking about, we're at the end here, and it's all focused on wisdom, and so like that seems like that's.
But it's assuming that this is written to a bodhisattva. This section is being written to a bodhisattva who has bodhicitta. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're reading it,
Yeah.
but we're just reading it.
Yeah.
This is being written to somebody who has those realizations. Because the book is written literally like you could go through it and you become enlightened. It's supposed to be written in that fashion.
Right.
It's written for a person to become enlightened, like a person. So depending on where you are at, it's written for a person to become enlightened. So it's each of these sections are realizations, if you know what I mean. Like refuge is a realization. All of these different things are realizations that you have. They aren't just things you know. They're actual, you have a direct valid cognition of these things. You have realizations of these things. And as you realize this, then you have a building block for realizing that. And it's written in a way that is kind of cause and effect of realization.
Yeah, it seems odd that someone could have achieved enlightenment and not know these things that we're reading right now. Like they see. I mean, I guess I understand. So this is like layers and layers and layers.
Well, they
but-
can just become free for themselves because they're only bound because they grasp at themselves in phenomena incorrectly. That's what keeps cyclic existence going. So you've just taken the causes away for that, but what keeps the ignorance of omniscience going is something else. So they haven't gotten rid of that, and that's this stuff.
Just seems like this is basic.
Seems like, but isn't.
Right, like about selflessness.
Yeah.
Like these points over and over about selflessness.
And you do have the points, though. When you're in the medium scope under the Four Noble Truths, it gets into, and it says, it actually sends the person to the later sections on emptiness in the medium scope. It'll say, if you need to know more about this emptiness, I'm going to explain it in the section later on calm abiding and special insight. So he does send people to the further section because a Hinayanist can't achieve nirvana without Madhyamika Prasangika.
Right.
They have to have what we call the Mahayana view of emptiness. But it's not a Mahayana view of emptiness, it's just the view of emptiness. So, does that make sense? Rinpoche, what was the question? I forget. I just want to tell Rinpoche, Kontriwa de garishene de teme nyanin le depa, de temepa, de konsu de ninji chempo dan semche, dan de kanga gugumare, gangin sene konsu nyanin le depa le tu, dene yene konsu ninji chempo yo mare, dene de konsi sampa de ken sapo du, kon tarpa degudu yene kon ninji chempo yo mare. Then garishene, de kongitriwa, then ngese du, de shanchu kashe yire, de jipo chungo, shanchu nyone yo mare, yene shanchu mingida, then the jipo din, the teme shanchu, the tarpa, yene sanje yo mare, then techen shanchu, the sanje, then shanchu kashe yire ngese du. Dene shanchu kashe ju kakare. Dene moa lagwe.
The Duji Sambe Wankres, Duja Susan London. And Kaji Netoki table Dubayo Ares,
Lesso.
Kaji Ranja table Dubayo,
Lesso.
Kaji teaching table Dubayo, Duba Mandra Son Yuzan, Debo Mandra Son Leon.
So it's because there are different continuums and different motivations that people have. Some people are more connected to the hearer vehicle, or find it more appealing, the hearer vehicle, the Shravaka vehicle. There are some who find it more appealing to practice the Pratyeka Buddha vehicle. There are some who find it more appealing or have some sort of connection to the Bodhisattva vehicle. And then there are some that are just feel connected to getting out of the lower realms. So it's for that reason that the Buddha showed all the varying types of practitioners the way to the various types of goals or results. And they all are results. All of the things that we're talking about are caused or come to being by different collections of things. And the Hinayana liberation or individual nirvana doesn't require the collection called great compassion and so forth. They have compassion and love. They practice those things, but they don't have great compassion, because great compassion observes all sentient beings and wishes to free them from suffering. Wishes that they be free from suffering. And then the extraordinary attitude, the next step is you say, I will free them from suffering. And then the next step is, I can't free them from suffering. I'm handicapped. Who can do the best job at that? A Buddha. I want to become a Buddha for the sake of them. For the sake of them. And that's bodhicitta. It's how you arrive at bodhicitta. A Hinayanist doesn't need to go there because they're not trying to free all of them. They're only trying to free themselves. So the other objects of observation aren't required because the scope is smaller. Does that make sense?
Question.
Katie has a question.
Just a quick question.
And I also asked, what I said to Rinpoche, I told him everything that I said, and then I said, is there anything you'd like me to add? And then that's what he said. So I told him what I said to you, and then he added that.
So I just want to thank Rinpoche and Jeff for translating. Okay. When we begin these prayers, the prayer of refuge and bodhicitta, at the beginning of the teaching, it's a prayer of refuge and bodhicitta. And Rinpoche starts with Sanjay, right? And then we follow, and we say this 3 times. So we're taking refuge in Rinpoche, or Rinpoche actually has given us his blessing. We're taking refuge in Rinpoche, so we have his blessing in our mind stream. Is this true? To connect with the Mahayana, this great bodhicitta, this great compassion, this teacher who has great compassion. So we're very fortunate that we have this teacher, this special teacher who has these realizations, and we have taken refuge in him. So my question is, we will be able to develop this because of his compassion if we try to study.
Well, not all of us have taken refuge in Rinpoche. Not everyone necessarily. So I wanted to start with that. So I'm trying to think, when we're all praying the refuge prayer, I just want to ask the question properly. You know me, I'm like very fanatical about like the details. So when we're saying the refuge prayer, and then does Rinpoche's compassion for us connect to our guru devotion and is there some sort of blessing that allows us to practice?
Like some kind of seed or imprint that's planted because we've connected with this particular teacher.
Okay. Rinpoche, the Shenyan Densu,
Mahayana Guru.
the Shenyan Densu, Teichen, the Shenyan Densu, Mahayana Guru devotion, I'm saying. Teichen Shenyan Densu. Then Ngatsu, the Dakpar Ngatsu, the Jiantro, Sanjay Chodan Soji Chodan La, Shanshu Badu, the Ngatsu Dangdu. Then the Teichen Jiantro. Then the Teichen Jiantro, the Lama Drawa Yurube, Lama the Ngatsu Susu Dopa, the Lama Nangla Yurube, the Chirang Ngatsu Shela Jakadu, Ngatsu the Jiantro Kandun Chena, Cheran ngatsu shelap jagadu, then ngatsu pentogudu, then the detsi laronang.
신의 대주
Gangesina kongit sampa the jantro sanje chodan soji chonan la shenyen densu drawa yure. Then ngatsu the jantro the kandun dana, then cheran shela ngatsu shela jagdue. Susudu.
신라전에서 건축 신라 누구랬어?
So this is a blessing given by the Buddhas, the three jewels. Then cheran yo marube.
맞아요.
It is not a blessing given by me. It is a blessing given to you by the three jewels. Dene the chirang ngatsu the gonchu sum becha chigdu, then ngatsu gutsogudu, then sunsan ngatsu tepa cha. Dene shenyen densu drawagare. So I'm asking, so what is the connection to Guru devotion? Less so. Then the Shenyen Densu, the Jantro Drawa Yurube? So there's no connection to that Guru devotion has to refuge, other than the fact that we rely on the teacher to teach us what the three jewels mean and what refuge means.
So in
the beginning stages of practice, to talk about or to think about from our sides, for practitioners to think about Guru devotion is very difficult and not a beginning thing to talk about. You have to first really, really know who a teacher is and what they're about and what they know, and observe them, and after that one can talk about Guru devotion. It's similar to when you go through the school system and you have a teacher who, because of that learning, you become a scholar. Because the teacher has taught you all of these subjects, you become a scholar of those subjects. So you've relied on him or her to become a scholar in those subjects. It's a very similar. You're relying on him or her on these subjects, these spiritual subjects.
Because when Rinpoche gives us an initiation, or we receive an initiation from His Holiness the Dalai Lama, we imagine the Guru.
That's Tantra. That's why he's saying that's a tantric teaching,
okay.
a secret tantric teaching. So he's saying that that's not something that is really a beginning stage to think about, because when you look at Guru devotion in the tantric context, it's very easy to misinterpret it. Even Stephen, who was it? They wrote the whole book on the Guru devotion and the problems in the West with it because of our misinterpretation. Alexander Berzin, called the spiritual. What's it called? It's such a great book, but people can.
Relying on the spiritual teacher.
That one, relying on the spiritual teacher. So Guru devotion has become very misinterpreted in the West so often that it's really something like we read the story of Lord the Rinpoche, the Atisha, the Kon, the Shera Taj Rimbo Chinson, the Gegen Yure, Yine Kon, the Jupo Pe Mason, Kon Getru, Yapudu, Yapio Mare, and Kon Shera Rimbo, the Atisha, Jeoje, the drone, and Jatso shit, the Nutra Chembo Yure. So there's a story of Lord Atisha, and Atisha was going to meet with a very, very famous teacher. He was world known, and he went there to receive teachings on, I believe, the Sonchinagare, Sir Limpa. He went to go receive teachings from Sir Limpa on bodhicitta, and these are the main teachings that Lord Atisha ended up teaching. This was the root of Lord Atisha's teachings, and Sir Limpa was the most famous teacher in the land. And he took like a 13-month, I'm bad at history, but look this part up. It's like a 13-month boat ride, and they were almost killed, and Atisha had to ward off spirits, and he went through all this trouble to get to the teacher. And he got off the boat and he went around town and asked everyone about Sir Limpa before he went to meet him. So he went and said, is Sir Limpa this? Is he really who everyone says? And he spent an enormous amount of time just analyzing and cutting and rubbing, basically, what the students had to say about Sir Limpa. And then and only then he went to meet with the master, and it says that they slept like head to head for the next 3 years or something like that. That they became that close that he taught him day and night to the point where they slept like head to head until he left. Lo sum, lo jung she sum. He doesn't remember how many years. Maybe it was 3 years. So it's just very important that even though you've heard, you go see the Dalai Lama, make sure that the Dalai Lama is someone you want to follow, not just because he's the Dalai Lama. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I know the answer.
Okay. Gangyusin and Nejo and Lana Mepi Jew, then the Chenyen Densu Mumbo Yure, then Kongi Gechi Shedu, then Esegudu, Me Kanga, Nejo Lana Mepi Jew, the Pentogomare. Datayen. It isn't in Rinpoche. I said to Rinpoche, and he said yes, that it's not beneficial for people who aren't at that level to even hear about teachings that are secret. Any more? Any less? You have?
Just a quick follow-up.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Nobody should leave here with a question because we have Rinpoche right here.
It's just a clarification. So when we, in our prayer book, when we do the confession of downfalls to the
Yes.
35 Buddhas,
Yeah, great.
uh,
I like that.
the first is homage to the confessions of the Bodhisattva's downfalls, and then my name throughout all times, take refuge in the Guru, the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. So I always visualize the Guru.
Absolutely. In this particular practice, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. The Rinpoche, the 35 Buddhas, the Molanjana, the Lama Shatselo Yure, the Lama Tsanlo Dan, the Molanjana. Shachitibala Shatselo, the Kanga Shatselo. Can I see that? Yene, the Kongi Chiwa, then Tambo, the to the Lama Jasuchio, Lama La Jasuchio, Sanjay La Jasuchio, Chula Jasuchio, Gendun La Jasuchio, they yure. Then the Ngatsu Lama, Ngatsu the Sanodan, the Namo Shanshu Sembi, the Shanshu Semba, Dan Sanjay, Sunchu Songa, Dan Lama, Kangat Sanodan, the Soshin.
Yes.
So when you think of the merit field, yes, you think of the Lama in the center, the normal way you would a merit field. And Rinpoche said, just by saying to the founder, Bhagavan, Tathagata Arhat, perfectly perfected Buddha, glorious conqueror, Shakyamuni Buddha, I prostrate, it removes 10,000 eons of non-virtue, just by paying homage in that way to Buddha Shakyamuni. So this is called the Confession of Downfalls to the 35 Buddhas, or the 35 Buddhas of Confession. It's in our prayer book, and it's one of the main prayers that everyone in this lineage does in order to purify negativity. And I used to have it memorized, and I definitely no longer do. And that's actually a secret text. That's actually the source of all, the source of all my good is considered a tantric, like a kind of a tantric text. There's a secret way to read it and a non-secret way to read it. The Yunten Shijoma, the Yunten Gunji, the Lama, the Yunten Kanga. The Lamrim, the Shenyan Densu Tambo, Shenyan Densu Yingua.
네.
So you do find the guru devotion in the beginning of the Lamrim, but the word devotion can be really misused, and it can be reliance on the teacher. That's a just as clean a word for the Tibetan word that's being used there. And when you use reliance on the teacher, then it fits in the sutra and tantric text context much better, because reliance according to sutra, reliance according to tantra. When you say devotion, it starts to makes it a little bit different, I feel. So I like the word reliance because I think it really gets the essence of what is being intended here. So the source of all my good is my kind Lama, my Lord. Bless me first to see that taking myself to him or her in the proper way is the very root of the path, and grant me then to serve and follow him or her with all my strength and reverence. The reason it says in the proper way also is it means that you have to check the teacher before you take on the teacher. So bringing yourself properly to a teacher is making sure that teacher is an appropriate teacher, and then relying on them to learn from. All that other stuff is later. I hope. All right, are we ready? Oh, question. Let's do it. Last question. I'm putting the hat on it, the cap. Bookended.
What is Pasha Malpita? I think I'm not pronouncing it
Prajnaparamita?
right. Yeah, that.
It's
if you-
perfection of wisdom.
Perfection of wisdom.
Prajnaparamita is perfection of wisdom.
That's how it breaks down.
Hmm. I promise.
And what is perfection of wisdom?
It's the Parshin, the Rinpoche, the Shera Nimpo, and Prajnaparamita Gare. Parshin.
반자바람에다서나
Parshin.
반자 싫어. 돈이 또 싫어 말이야.
Okay, so prajna means wisdom, and it's referring to, like if we're breaking it down, like the Sanskrit,
싫어지 바로 드신 봐. 저거 말이야.
it literally means going to the other side of wisdom. To the other side, the other shore of wisdom is what it literally means. Perfection of wisdom, we use the word perfection, but it really is supposed to mean to the other side. So other English translators said, let's just say the other side's perfection. So we'll call it perfection of wisdom, because it sounds better. But it really is to the other side, wisdom. Prajnaparamita. Cool?
Yeah.
All right.
돈이 또 싫어라 되네. 성지 살로.
Independence upon the wisdom realizing emptiness, one goes to the Buddha grounds, the other side, to the Buddha grounds. The other shore in Buddhism is enlightenment, is not cyclic existence. They're referring, when they say the other shore, the other side, they're referring to not super mundane as opposed to mundane, not worldly.
So that's independent origination then?
Dependent origination.
No, independent.
There's no dependent origination. Independent origination is wrong view.
No,
Dependent origination.
Pita go to the other side. Is the other side independent origination?
No, no. It's by realizing dependent origination, one goes to the other side of ignorance, basically, which is wisdom. What is that wisdom? The wisdom realizing dependent origination.
Okay, so independent origination.
Not independent, dependent. Independent means there's no dependence.
Right, I know.
Interdependence means that but independent origination isn't what we're talking about. Dependent origination. It originates depending on other things. It depends on other things.
But independent origination.
We've never used that word in this class. I've never said that in my whole life.
That was
Never come out of my mouth. Independent origination is never something we talk about. Independence, we talk about. Independence, not independence. Independence on that. Independence on this. That's all. Yeah. Independent. I see what you're saying. Yep. It depends on. Independence on this, there is that. But it's not independent. It's independence on this, there is that.
Thank
because there is interdependence. So I can see how the words, but yeah. Okay?
Okay.
All right, concluding mandala offering and dedication prayer. This one goes out to you, Buddha. The fundamental ground is scented with incense and strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha land and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure realm. I dedicate whatever virtues I have collected for the benefit of the teachings and of all sentient beings, and in particular for the essential teachings of Venerable Losang Drapa to shine forever. I send forth this jeweled mandala to you, precious Guru. I dedicate all this virtue to emulate the knowledge of the hero Manjushri and likewise Samantabhadra as well, with whatever dedication is praised as supreme by all the conquerors who traverse the 3 times. I also dedicate all my roots of virtue for the sake of auspicious deeds. In that pure land, surrounded by snowy mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness. All-powerful Avalokiteshvara Tenzin Yatso, may you stay until samsara's end. I pray for the long life of the precious Khensur Wandak, upholder of scriptural and realizational doctrines, the spiritual friend who trained extensively in the 5 great philosophical texts with exceptional wisdom and perseverance. Suji Rimche Guti Shapidan Lamrim Chamakanga Trianang Dang Umajupa Dang Tsar Shirap Kanga Trianang.